Alright, Scarlet based PCTP buyouts, $1,000 over here, $1,000 over here, and then Shrouded Fable goes up to 300. You see 48 sold here, you see 21 sold here today, and um, 24 sold here. There's only one left. There's only one left over here, and there's still some left on Shroud Fable. There's only like a page left, not that many, and wouldn't be surprised if you'll boss some of the rest of them. And yeah, I don't think definitely these prices probably won't stay at 1,000 unless there's probably some on eBay, whatever, unless someone really bought them all out. There's probably other people, but even though this $1,000 price tag is probably not gonna be stable at the moment, like people like there's definitely PC2B buyouts today. I wouldn't be surprised if this keeps happening. I checked a lot of the other PC2Bs. I didn't check some like 151 prismatic. I'll check those later. But these are the main ones being bought out. And even if you're like, hey, 1,000 is way too much, the normal price before this, let's see, a 9.6, it was selling for about 250 before this. And you can see some bought for around like 300, like 375, 400, 450. There's only been like one really large purchase at 600. Um, Otherwise, 300 like $400 really isn't that much. It's like 50% more, but for a PCTP, it's like it was probably gonna head there anyway. So this really isn't that bad of a buyout. But yeah, just crazy. This is literally vertical growth on these graphs. Wouldn't be surprised if some of the orders are canceled and people just raise their prices or whatever. Because I forgot that was kind of a thing. And then for this one too, yeah, like this had just risen to the at least one of these. I made a video on the other day. So this was also around like 200, 250. Um, and not having that many sales, but you see on the fourth it was 290, and then yesterday people started buying them around the 300 mark, and then mostly like up to about 400, 450. So this buy wasn't as bad. Someone did buy like some of the more expensive ones just to kind of even it out. Um, yeah, the price just looks really impressive right now. And Shroud Fable over here, this is still up like 50%. It was selling for about pretty commonly like 150 to 200. Over here, pretty much it was like $150. Actually, no, like over here it was yeah about 150, and then people started buying it out, going up to about 200. So pretty much all the 200s were bought out, and then there's just a couple to complete the buyouts a little bit more. But that's how buyouts work. Like, if you average it out, it's pretty fine. That's just $300, and I'm maybe these guys listed afterwards, but 300s over here. Like this stuff does sometimes really raise the price of things. Shrouded Fable is probably a little bit more, but the SV based one, like how many people do you think have SV based PCTVs like where they get holding these and stuff? Like there's probably still a good amount, but yeah, these PCTVs are already so scarce. Like we'll see what kind of happens. Let me know what you guys think about this. For like it's kind of weird. Like SV base is more expensive. Paldea evolved, end of seeding flames, which are still around $700. I'll just go over the other graphs briefly. Paldea sold one yesterday, but still kind of around the same price points. Obsidian Flames sold none recently, just one the fifth. And Paldea has really gone through a while without having any sales. Pretty much like this whole month, it hasn't had any sales except for flying today. Paradox Rift. So zero sold yesterday. It's been selling pretty consecutively, and the price is still. I think it rose to about $225 the other day. It's still pretty much 225, possibly heading to about 250 over here. For Temporal Forces, this is the less popular one. Sold one flying today after not having a bunch of sales, and going toward 200. For this one, this is the more popular one. This rose recently. Sold one today, and it's no, it's not too far from $300 to be honest. These PCTBs do have like pretty big price flyers. This Temporal Forces, I've heard that one of those people who commented said that the promo of this is pretty rare. Especially I think maybe as a PSA 10. I don't remember the exact comment, but I hear that this there's if you look at the population reports or something, I hear that there's little of it or something. I didn't verify that though. It sold one today. It sells pretty sparsely. Like it takes breaks of like 3 or 4 days, and it could go to 270 to 300. Temporal is slowing down sales. People were buying it more, like about 2 or 3 a day. Now it's sold like one per day the last 2 days, and I think this has been kind of rising. It's around $200 now. if you just move up the prices a little bit. And yeah, a lot of the prices before that were like 170 to like 150 to 170. There's some recent around 200s, but yeah, this has been rising. Um, the Stellar Crown, in comparison, hasn't been moving as much, even though a lot of the newer PCTVs have been moving, and so this has been more stagnant. Um, and around like 185 to 200, and yeah, it's been kind of stuck there. So policy opportunity there, and then Surging Sparks has been selling about one per day. Like yeah, Twilight has been selling kind of the best out of some of these, and yeah, it's been around 300. It's going toward 310, 315. And sometimes what people do when like there's been a lot of Surging Sparks reprints recently with the ETPs and bundles, people will hone into things that are more scarce, like the booster boxes and the PCTBs. All right, Paradox Rift at 260. We are still under a massive repricing under the first four Scarlet Vibe boxes. I've been talking about this. Paldea Evolved and Obsidian Flames are still pretty stagnant. Obsidian Flames went down 6. SV Base, there's one on sale, but it's still pretty much the same price, but down 14 technically. Paradox Rift is up $11. Twilight is down 5, and Surging Sparks down 9. But some of these are just steals, so I'll go over kind of what's the more accurate view. So yeah, more sales for Paradox. You see 8 is actually quite a bit more than normal, especially the last 2 days. Usually it's like 2 to 3 a lot of the days. And you see, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Paradox really makes a run for about $300. It's just where all these boxes are kind of going. The main store in between that is Moby's Corner, selling them for about 261 at 15 of them. Otherwise, like you already see 290 at the bottom here. I think the other day was like 280 or something. So definitely a lot of people want to sell us for a higher price. It's already like 280 starting here. That's about 280. And then before that, there's just 4 sellers who want to sell for less. So this is kind of an obvious buy for some people. Like this isn't about if it's the best value for your money. It's like not bad. But you just know that's going to a repricing. Like Paldea Evolved has already had it. It's already increased from like 400 to 450. Obsidian Flames crossed the $300 mark pretty sharply, and then now it's about 3,483. So you're just seeing the price. People will compare these prices. Look, it's kind of ridiculous. Like these are like they're old, but they're not like super old. Like 400 something, 300 something. This is 200 something. So this is going to go 200. And SV Base, everyone knows it's going to move. Just hasn't moved. So I'm just gonna tell you like these are very obviously gonna move out of all of them. SV Base. So there's one on sale for 225. Otherwise, the price is back at 240. I think it will move after Paradox because it is a little slower. You don't see the price ladder as extreme, but people will go after this once they see the other three move, and it'll kind of catch on. People will get FOMO that they're like, oh, why are these? Oh, it's because rotation's happening and these are really old. Like people don't realize how old some of these sets are, but they're like really old because no one wanted them for a while. So a lot of the time on the market, like people just didn't buy them. And the amount sold yesterday was actually 0 yesterday. So yeah, this is everything. It'll just lag behind a little bit, but slowly but surely. And then Paldea, even though it's not really moving that much, it's just in the state where people are still buying it. And so you're just having a time where like it'll slowly creep out of supply. Supply will sort of slowly drop. Eventually, it'll rise back up again. But right now, people are just slowly buying it while it stays at 450. And Obsidian also, after that big buyout, 18 sold only one yesterday, one the day before. And a lot of the prices are it's sort of like Paldea as well, where a lot of the prices are around the 350 mark. A lot of the sellers are around there. Twilight sold 0 yesterday. It has one cheaper one at 310. This is still going to about 320. There's still some confidence for Twilight, and people are less resistant to buy it now. Demand in general has been generally higher. For Surging Sparks, there's this one cheaper one at 248. Otherwise, actually 2 sellers at 248. Otherwise, it goes back to 260. Of all these repricings, people will adjust to buy Surging Sparks. There's a lot of Surging Sparks reprints, and despite that, you see that a lot of sellers want to sell for at least 260. So it kind of shows the strength of Surging Sparks, because like it feels like everyone knows Prismatic and 151 printed a lot, but Surging Sparks seems like they also tried to print a decent amount. I'm not sure the exact comparison, but definitely, especially recently, they printed a decent amount, and they out of all the booster box reprints, I think they had like it was one of the only booster box reprints that I kind of remember that was more significant. So despite all that, like that's kind of like to take for it. Like Prismatic has had a ton, still around $9-10 a pack, pretty impressive. ETB is still around $100 last time I checked. Stellar Crown sold 6 yesterday, and this is also going up. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people think are probably gonna guess Stellar Crown's not gonna get reprinted. I noticed the trend in like Costco stuff. Like they reprinted Prismatic, they reprinted Surging Sparks, ETBs, they reprinted Twilight Masquerade. So those are the major sets. Do they really need to reprint Stellar Crown? Probably not. They really need to reprint Temporal Forces. Maybe not, especially not as booster boxes, maybe as other things. But if these things don't get additional product, you'll have a Paldean Fates effect, where Paldean Fates part of the reason it's so expensive is because it was deprioritized compared to 151. Like, they had to prioritize things. And so even these worser sets are just going to be scarcer. 6 sold yesterday. Like the ones SU 1 through 4 is more heavily targeted because those are like sure things. Like they're not gonna reprint them at this point. But Stellar Crown, you're kind of just betting a little more, so it's a little more risky. But you see the market is heading that direction. It's going to 255, and then Temporal Forces sold one yesterday, and yeah, I think it's basically a 260 box. People are just not buying from the seller over here. Yeah, this one sold for 240, so I guess that's a little inaccurate. But yeah, I kind of wish this person would get bought or like the price would move because Temporal does sell. Our Evolving Skies is sold one yesterday. It still maintained this 2,900 price point pretty well. If you look at the price graph, it's up $78. So this keeps happening with Evolving Skies. Like it'll reach a new price point, it'll drop back down, and it'll just maintain it back again to a good extent. So like, let's see if I can see that anywhere. Like it reached 2,500 a while back, and it just maintained that really well. A lot of people thought it would drop. I think over here, yeah, it went from 2,100, 2,200 to 2,500 on July 25th, and it kind of maintained that price point for a while. And then I think it made a big jump, and it was really consistent at that. A lot of people thought it would drop, and then it rose to 3,000 basically on August 31st, about a month later, and then it dropped to like 2,700, 2,600. But then like there's just not enough supply, there's enough interest that it's rising back up, so it's only $100 less than that new rise. So Evolving Skies is very persistent. Astral Race up $5, so that's good because it's actually starting to rise. This is probably a new high for it. Dark Display is up $12, so that's it's a little more volatile, but it has been creeping up. And then Chilling Rain down 5, and then Silver Tempest down 1. Yeah, Evolving Skies is really interesting because it's not necessarily going to be the best way to spend your money, especially by a TCG player. But it's definitely something it's going to go up. And yeah, I'm not really sure where it'll stop at. Like $3,000, like people are very willing to buy at 3,000 basically at this point. Willing enough that the price is still going up. And then Sword and Shield in general has been slower, so I'm just telling you what I'm still seeing as like opportunities of what's actually moving. Fusion Strike finally started selling again, so one sold yesterday, one sold the day before that after not selling for about 5 days. And it's always been close to 1100, but not quite there yet. And now it's kind of the same place as yesterday, so about 5 over here and then 1 over here. Silver Tempest sold one yesterday. Its demand generally has been down, but still sells about every day. And recently rose to about 500. I still see this one about 485. And then these are still around 500, so it's still doing pretty well. Lost Origin finally had a slowdown of sales. There hasn't been like 2 consecutive days of sales in like this whole month till now. I'm also seeing the number of $850 boxes start to rise. Like this is about 6 over here. So it's about 7 boxes. So just slowly, I think before it was like 5, unless I miscounted. But yeah, it's finally starting to slow down a little bit. Brilliant Stars had a very long run without pretty much any sales. So this is pretty much August 27th to September 4th, pretty much no sales except for this one day. And there's kind of a weird divide here where there's 3 sellers trying to sell for 540, and then everyone else trying to sell for 600. So possibly a buy over there, to be honest. It definitely will pay for taxes and stuff. So possibly a buy, and these are all like the sales for these aren't too bad. They have 100% feedback. For Chilling Rain, you're seeing sales do pick up. It's a little more, it's just more consistent than Brilliant Stars selling have no sales. So it's starting to pick up. People are starting to pick up the cheaper boxes around 565 to like about 570, but it has been dropping from 600. For Astral Radiance, finally sold 2 yesterday, and this might still rise up to like 415, 420, just because it's so cheap right now compared to other things. So 2 were sold yesterday. Dark Displays sold 1 yesterday, and it's up to 350, so heading to 400 maybe, but this is a little more sporadic. Vivid Voltage has been selling, so 3 sold yesterday. And in Battle Styles have been stuck at 260. I'm just waiting to see if they actually cross like 265 or something. Yeah, Battle Styles sold 4 today, and it's been close to 265, 270, just hasn't really quite made it. Nothing with Sword and Shield base, no sales since August 28th, and then nothing with Rebel Clash, no sales since August 27th. That wraps things up for this video. I hope you walked away with a better understanding of the market. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more deep dives in the Pokemon market. Tell me what's the next big investment you're considering in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you all later.